Hello everybody, welcome to part 3. So, as you can see from the title, this video is about my 3rd trimester and me giving birth. Alright, to start it off, I had pretty much the same symptoms I had in my 2nd trimester. Like, it hurt to walk, and there was just a lot of pressure on my hips at all times, it felt like. And let's see, oh, and I just want to blue out and do all the time. But there was something added to that, and I ended up getting PUPS, P-U-P-P-S, I think that's how it's spelled, like abbreviated anyways, but I could not tell you the real word for it because it's like something very long. But anyways, you're more likely to get it if you're white, young, and if you're carrying a boy, and I was just all 3. I was the perfect brewing ground for PUPS. And it's like weird because there's a lot of things with pregnancy you don't know, and PUPS was one of those things for me. But I pretty much just googled my symptoms, and it was like the first thing that came up, and the doctor was like, yeah, it's PUPS. And PUPS is pretty much just a pregnancy rash, really. Makes you have really bad stretch marks, and on top of that, those stretch marks, you have a rash, a really itchy bumpy rash on top of all of that, and it can spread too. I mainly had it on my stomach, but I also itched pretty much everywhere. And the sad part about PUPS is that it can't be cured until you give birth. Like, the cure is birth. And I even heard some women still have PUPS even after labor. Luckily for me, after I had Bellamy, my PUPS went away like immediately. But I feel like I had PUPS for like a month or 2 before I had him. Maybe a month, I don't know, a month and a half. But it was terrible because like you literally itch all the time. And also, sorry if you hear Bellamy crying in the background, he's trying to go down for a nap. But anyways, you literally itch all the time. Nothing really helps. They prescribed some ointments. They did not help at all. The only thing that would help, I think it was called Grandpa's Pine Tar Soap. But that wouldn't help that much. It would help as I was in the shower putting it on. It would give me some relief. It'd probably give me relief for like 30 minutes, if that. But it was the only thing that gave me any kind of little relief. So I stuck with it. I used that Grandpa Pine Tar Soap like no tomorrow. I took like 3-4 showers a day. Like, it itched so bad. And I feel like that definitely was my least favorite part of pregnancy. Like, I really did not enjoy that at all. I mean, who would? And pretty much, yeah. So getting closer to the end of my pregnancy, Miguel and I had decided to move, which we probably should have decided a lot sooner than near the end. And when I say near the end, I mean near the end. My due date with Bellamy was September 14th, and I ended up having him September 5th. So just to show you how near the end, Miguel and I decided to move September 1st. And it was very stressful because, you know, I'm nearing the end of my pregnancy. Our lease is ending just about then, and if we were gonna find a place, we needed to find it now. And luckily we did end up finding a place, a nice 2-bedroom that we currently live in. And the entire weekend we were just, you know, bringing everything in, and we were just moving everything from our house to here. And I wasn't doing heavy lifting, but I was repeatedly picking things up and trying to put them in spots that they should go. Like, I was putting out away clothes, and like we moved into a 2-story house, so I think just going up and down the stairs, putting things away is what put me into labor. Because on Labor Day, so September 4th, yeah, I guess that was a Monday, September 4th on a Monday, which was Labor Day. Funny enough, I went into labor. So it was actually all quite surreal because I just felt like I wanted him out so badly, and because I wanted him out so badly, I'd be somebody that would go past their due date, and I really sincerely thought I was going to be that person. But I wasn't that person. Anyways, so I think I was just sitting on the couch watching some YouTube, and Miguel had off work that day, and we were just trying to relax that day, really, because we just got Bellamy's nursery together. We just got the whole house together for the most part, And that day was just the day to relax. And it was funny because it was like early in the morning. I think Miguel's sister might have been here too. I'm not positive. Yeah, I think she was. But anyways, I was watching OK Baby actually while I was sitting on the couch. And I just stood up to go to the bathroom. And oh my god, it felt like I was peeing myself. And it just kept coming out. And I was like freaking out because I'm like, this is it, my water broke, this is real. And my entire pregnancy, like, I was really excited for my baby, but I was terrified of labor. I was so afraid of labor, and my main fear was just dying in labor. Really, that was my main fear. I don't know why I had that fear. I think it's because I don't know, like, videos on Facebook would come up saying how, like, America has the highest mortality rate. I don't know if that's right or wrong, like whatever one means, that a lot of women die while being in labor happens in the USA. And I was just like freaking out because I was just afraid, and I was just afraid that I'd never get to meet my baby. And I don't know, I'm just someone that is afraid of these kind of things. But anyways, my water broke, and I'm like screaming for me. I'm like, God, my water broke, and this is real. And my pants were soaked, and I don't know, everything was just soaked. And I didn't know what to do because I thought when your water breaks, it just stops. Like, I didn't think it'd keep coming out because it just kept coming out. And I'm like, oh my God. So I ended up actually just like standing in the bathtub so I didn't get it everywhere more. It was all very, very real, very weird. Yeah, it was all very, very weird and surreal. And Miguel and I did not have a car at this point, so I called one of my former foster parents. Which one did I call? I think Ingrid. I might have called them both, actually. But yeah, Ingrid, I think, yeah, Ingrid is the one that came. She came like really fast because she lives like 5 minutes down the road from me. And like, just with that, I got in the car, and like, I wasn't hurting or anything yet. I wasn't contracting, and the only reason I was going to the hospital is because I know once your water breaks, they have 24 hours to get the baby out of you, pretty much, because I guess after 24 hours you get the risk of infection and everything. So we end up going to the hospital, and it was so funny because like, I'm walking in, and like when I'm sitting down, nothing comes out. Like, I'm fine. But as soon as I stand up, it comes pouring out again. So like, I get up, I'm trying to walk. I walk into the emergency room, and I don't remember if anybody said that I was having a baby, but I think the security guard just knew, because I was like kind of like holding myself down there because I was like dripping everywhere, and like I was getting amniotic fluid all over the floor. And it was just so funny because the security guard took like the metal detector, and he I can't curse in this, he just swung it. Like, he swung it away. He like ran for a wheelchair, and then next thing I know, I'm sitting in a wheelchair being wheelchaired into labor and delivery. And next, what came next just felt like forever. So the doctors, you know, are talking to me. They hook me up to all the machines, and they're just telling me what this is gonna look like, pretty much. They told me if I didn't start contractions naturally within the next few hours, they'd start me, I think, to something that starts with the P, that like helps you get into labor. And luckily I did not need that, because like, it was funny too, because like, I was like all happy, fine and dandy for like 4 or 5 hours, because like, I was not in pain. But then suddenly it just kept coming and coming and coming, and oh my God, contractions are the worst pain. I was having my contractions in my hips, and the doctors have never heard of this before. Like, it literally felt like someone was ripping my hip out of its socket. And I feel like, and they told me it's probably because he was putting a lot of pressure on a nerve there, and I felt like that's probably why it hurt so much to walk, because he was putting pressures on my nerves that were in my hips. But anyways, it hurt so bad. Like, it just really, 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 really hurt. Like, I can't explain to you how bad it hurt. If you've already been in labor or had a baby, you know how bad it hurts. So I'm trying to go natural. Not natural, but I really did not want an epidural. I was terrified of an epidural. And I think my mom was the reason for that fear, because she told me that like, risk going paralyzed from using an epidural, and I feel like that just stuck with me throughout the years, because I think she told me this when I was like a teenager or something, and it really has just stuck with me, and I was just afraid of that. And I believed her too, because they make you sign a waiver, so I just believed her. The pain was just getting worse and worse. They put some kind of medicine into my IV. It did nothing at all. And they're just like, we'll help, we could try laughing gas in a bit, we could try this. And then it started to hurt so bad. I decided to try and take a bath, because they had baths for like birthing baths, I don't know what they call them, but anyways, I was in the bathtub. I was trying to, but I wasn't even comfortable, because there was this fabric that was squeezing me on my belly, and every few seconds I felt like a nurse had to come in and readjust like the heartbeat monitor and the contraction monitor, and like I was just over it, because like my titties are sticking out, everything is out, and because I'm trying to relax in a bath, but I can't relax because they're constantly rearranging the wires, constantly telling me to get out of the bathtub so that they can rearrange the wires. So eventually I was just like, you know what, I'm fine, I won't take a bath then. It wasn't helping anyways. I was just very annoyed at this point, because everybody was just in my face, but I wasn't telling anybody this, of course, because I'm just like, just take it, like, okay, fine, we just won't do this. And like, I don't know, I'm just like so depressing when I'm in pain. Like, I just can't speak up for myself or anything. So eventually, like, when the bath didn't work and nothing was helping, and I had to wait a while to try the laughing gas, I was just like, give me the epidural. Give me the epidural right now. And I think it was an hour later when I was actually able to get the epidural, and I signed the waiver. And let me tell you, the waiver doesn't say anything about becoming paralyzed. So my mom was full of the yes word when she told me that. So I felt a lot better about getting the epidural, and oh my god, when that epidural was a lifesaver, but not at first. It actually took them like an hour to get the needle in my back and to get it in a good spot. And when they thought they got in a good spot, they really didn't, because it was only working on one side, so the other side wasn't working at all. And to me, I felt like that felt like 10 times worse, because now I'm just feeling the pain of what should be in both my hips just in one hip, and it just felt terrible. And they said since it took so long to get the epidural in, that they didn't want to try again. And I feel like 30 minutes later, they decided to check me, and I was like at a 4 for hours, and I was still at a 4, and they were like, okay, yeah, you're not getting anywhere unless we give it to you again. So they ended up trying again, and this time, oh my god, it felt so great. Like, I felt so much better, like instantly. It was like the weight of the shoulders, the weight of the world was lifted off my shoulders. Like, it just felt so good to not be in pain. And I was actually able to fall asleep, and they had like this peanut ball in between my legs. I don't know why, but they had a peanut ball between my legs. And then, I don't know if you know this, but with an epidural, I didn't know this, you have to like constantly like flip on your different, like on your right side for like 30 minutes, and you're like the left side for 30 minutes. You just have to be on each side equally, because if you just stay on one side, the epidural will only start to work in that one side, and then the other side will wear off and start to hurt. I was actually able to sleep, and all the nurses and doctors at Poudre Valley Hospital, they are great. Like, they're such good people. Because like before I got the epidural, they were just so nice to me, and they were helping me like control my breathing, and like it really does feel so much better when you get control of your breathing, because it honestly hurts so much more when you're freaking out and crying and stressing about it, opposed to like just like trying to chill out and like focus on your breathing, because it really does help. It's crazy, but I mean, as much as it helps, you can't forget that you're in pain. So I just couldn't do it, and I was just over being in pain. But anyways, so I think at one point in the night, because I was actually able to sleep, one of the nurses woke me up, because originally I was told I wouldn't need a catheter, and this nurse woke me up and she's like, "We gotta put your catheter in." And I'm like, what? I was told I don't need a catheter. And I was really afraid of this too. And she's like, well, you're getting a catheter. That was like the only nurse I did not like. She didn't even give me a choice. She's like, well, you're gonna get a catheter. You're just gonna get it. And I'm like, I was told I didn't need one. She did not care, and I'm like, fine, whatever, put a catheter in, because I wasn't going to deal with it. So she put the catheter in, and honestly, I did not feel it, but I just didn't like the thought of having one, and I was afraid of it hurting. But anyways, I'm not sure when they ended up waking me up, but they told me I was like a 10, and they did some practice pushing with me, and they're like, oh, well, and they told me actually that they'd come back in an hour for me to deliver, but no, they were just like, we're gonna do this, okay, we're just gonna do it. And I'm like, I'm gonna have a baby now? And at this point, the epidural is wearing off, and they say they can't do anything about it. So I was starting to feel pain again, but it wasn't that bad since now I'm pushing, and the pushing actually relieves the pain so much. Like, pushing feels so good. Every time I pushed, it's just like all that pain in my hips went away. So there was that. Miguel likes to joke saying I say there is that a lot in my videos because like I just need that filler. I ended up pushing. I think I pushed for like an hour and 10 minutes. Something else I didn't know is that if you have an epidural, like I think, yeah, they had me hold my breath for like 10 seconds and then push. I think it was something like that. Don't quote me on that because I am not positive. But anyways, so it's just an hour of that. It was a lot of pushing, and I felt like a lot of getting nowhere, and then eventually I started crowning. And something else I was afraid of was, I think they call it the ring of fire. Really hurt once you start crowning, but I did not feel any pain with that whatsoever. So that was nice. Like, pushing, honestly, I've been told it's supposed to be the hardest part, but it was so easy for me. Like, it just did not hurt. It felt right. But anyways, as I'm pushing and pushing and pushing, eventually his head comes out, right? And they just tell me to, and they're like, don't relax, you gotta push again. And I did relax, and he just like slipped out like a fish. And so he slipped out like a fish, and like I just breathed and he came out, and I'm like, that works for me. Anyways, so right away, the doctors or the nurse, whoever put him on me, they put him on my chest like right away. I don't remember if it was pee or poop, but like he went on me right away too. And sadly, I did not enjoy those first few moments of him being on my chest, because after he came out, I just felt like this like 3 gallons of blood. It felt like 3 gallons of blood just came pouring out of me, and I was worried that I was dying, because I told you I had that fear. And I'm trying to talk to the nurses and the doctors, and they're all just looking at my hoo-ha like, what's going on down there? And I'm like, what is happening? Am I okay? And eventually one of them do answer me and say that no, this is normal, this happens to just about everybody when they give birth. Like, this big pile of blood comes out, I guess. So that made me feel better about it. And then I was actually able to focus on the fact that I now had a baby. Sorry, just had to go check on Bellamy, try to cheer him up because he's still crying up there trying to nap. He's been having a really rough day with naps. But anyways, back to it. I was trying to focus now on delivering my placenta. And let me tell you, delivering your placenta is like the weirdest thing, because it literally feels like a fish, like a giant slippery fish coming out of you. That is how it felt for me. And I thought it plopped on the floor because how loud the plop was, but it turns out like it plopped into a container, but I swore it was the floor because it sounded like a pretty pretty loud plop. Now that I'd like delivered everything, you know, it was just, I got an hour with Bellamy on my chest, and like I feel like 10 minutes after he actually came out, he started to nurse. Like, that boy was about to boop right from the start. And then we spent like a week in the hospital actually, because Bellamy had jaundice. He had very high, well, like relatively high bilirubin, but not enough for him to be put in the NICU. He did have to go on one of those like UV light blankets though for like a whole day, and they told me just, you know, to keep him on there, feed him, nurse him while he's on there. And it was all just very hard on me like that week, because like I'm a new mom, not sleeping at all. If I had known I was going into labor, Like on the day I went into labor, I would have enjoyed my last night's sleep pretty much. Like I would have gotten the best rest of my life if I knew. I actually forgot to mention a few other details, which is Bellamy actually came up facing forward, not forward, like facing up instead of facing down. I think they call that sunny side up. And he also came out with a bit of a cone head, which was like even more proof that he was pressing down on like a nerve on my hips the entire time. And he came out 7 pounds 8 ounces at 9:49 a.m. on September 5th, 2017.